People who let their mom count to 0. What happened after? She reset me to the factory settings. A hard reset, as we called it. She was bluffing, but only the first time. Well, if the comments section is any hint of what happened, she was counting again so you wouldn't run away as she grabbed the wooden spoon. Oh man, I'm old now, but that brings back an old memory. When I was born, I already had 5 older brothers and mom had an 8-year break from having children. Then, surprise, Nibbles McGiblet came along. As the only girl, I sometimes heard stories of how bad my brothers had been when they were my age. Probably told to keep me from getting into similar trouble. And I definitely remember my mom saying the only time she ever used anything to spank any of us, it was a wooden spoon on my second oldest brother. Apparently it broke as she spanked him with it. He was a teen, and it left a mark, and she vowed not to do that to any of the other kids for any reason. And then didn't, until I had hair down to my butt and was the only girl. And at one point I thought that brushing my hair WIHT around brush would make it curly. No, it made it tangled. My mom spent a couple of hours working that knot out and then swatted me with the brush. Edited to add, to the person who thought it was appropriate to call my dearly loved and now deceased mother. Disgusting. Go talk to your own mother that way, if you really feel that is appropriate. But keep your opinions of my mother out of it. She did a great job raising 6 kids all by herself after our father died. The same way she swatted me with the brush is the same way that if we told her a funny joke, she might swat us on the shoulder with her hand while laughing. A swat, it is not a slap, a hit, a punch, or a spank. It's a swat. Grow up and quit being so cruel. There's no benefit for anyone that comes from you disrespecting my dead mother. Instead, maybe go call your own mom or give her a hug and tell her you love her. Turn that frown upside down and get out of your miserable head and spread some joy to her while you can. Tried it once. She gave a defeated sigh, then chuckled. Then she said something like, "You're getting too old." That was the day I became a man. I'll never forget my 32nd birthday. Asterisk, the chase of a lifetime that ended in a red-hot posterior. Asterisk. She was paddling me with a small, handled wooden cutting board, but it split along the grain and I made the mistake of laughing, so she grabbed a wooden spoon. My grandma got so very pissed a couple of my cousins once that she started throwing whatever she could get her hands on. Shoes, spoons, brushes. But they were dancing around so much trying to dodge that they burst out laughing. This only pissed her off more, and their brother decided to help her out by bringing the stuff she threw back to her so she never ran out of ammo. But this only made them laugh harder while simultaneously yelling at him to stop. They reached a stalemate when they all got tired to carry on. Wooden spoon impact. Edit. I see a lot of people asking if I'm Italian, Irish, or even Polish. Nope. American. But the art of the wooden spoon was taught through many generations in our family. I'm just thankful I never got the belt. She started counting to negative numbers. I think mine did fractions. 1/2, 1/4. Bold of you to assume that they are alive to tell their story. I had my sister's Hello Kitty belt imprint left on my ass. I see this as an absolute win. Pussies. My mom started at 0. 0. Immediately punches you. Spawn kill. I'm gonna count again. 5.4. Hardest thing as a parent is following through on punishing these kids you love more than anything else in the world. As someone who never heard no and never was grounded, discipline is love. I'm currently learning the hard way, and this is a lot harsher and more soul-crushing than being grounded for extra chores. If you don't discipline them, they will have to learn discipline on their own. Not saying be harsh, but something. My ears are still ringing. Seriously, I got a minor case of tinnitus. 100%. It was my grandma, because mom didn't give warnings like that. Grandma is tiny, so we didn't worry. Normally we would step in line at 2. Once, on 13, I decided to stand my ground and her little arm made contact with the side of my head with the speed of a timber rattler. That day was rough. We learned that running from her was much more effective. Then, she learned that we were not worthy of warnings. I'm 6 feet 5 inches. My Nana is about 5 feet 2 inches. One day I was being a smartass to her and my cousin. She told me to stop picking on my cousin or she'll smack me one. I kept going. My Nana came up beside me and asked me to steady her while she leaned on me. I didn't think anything of it until she smacked me in the back of the head with her slipper and said, "I told you I'd smack you one if you didn't cut it out." I was 27 at the time. I'll never know. She got to 7 and, being the resident smartass, I said, "Oh cool. Showing off again, Mom?" Quote. That went real well for me. I think it was a fair enough question. Seriously, what number was she aiming for, or what number did she start at? "Listen son, I can count to 12 now." Quote. Oh lord, she comin'. I'm just piggybacking off this comment because it was literally an oh lord moment. My mom is quite deaf. About 85% of her hearing is gone. Well, around the time it first started to fade, she was in a foul mood. She screamed at me to tell my cousin to come downstairs and come and eat. As I turned and said, "Okay," and she could not read my lips, I just heard her scream from behind me. I said, "Go and get your cousin." As she opened the freezer door, pulled out a frozen loaf of bread and launched it directly at my head. I woke up about 90 seconds later with her sobbing on top of me and with a pounding headache. And she never hit me again. We also got McDonald's after. Half of my respiratory organs were destroyed. I woke up in the back of a wagon heading to Skyry, Monsieur. Hey, you're finally awake. Everything goes black and the last thing I see is my mother's slipper speeding toward me. It's funny how they can make getting hit by fuzzy pink slipper feel like getting hit by a Mack truck. She smiled and embraced me. "You've passed the test," she said. "You are a man now." The next day I woke up and I was a plumber with 20 years experience. Not my mother. Becqua says she rarely disciplined me and my siblings. But my grandma, oh no. When I went to 0, I got her classic little old Asian lady move. A sock filled with pennies thrown at me at speeds I never thought possible. Shit HURTED. Every time your kids swear at a penny in your sock and soon you'll have a weapon to be. This is Reddit, not a Ouija board. HELP. Goodbye. She's currently on 1,125,899,906,842,624. I'll let you know if she ever gets there. If anyone needs a reference. That's 2 to the power of 50. If your mom counts one number every second, and has been having the fraction each time, she hasn't even been counting for a full minute yet. She yelled my name real loud. And Daddy said, "Why don't you ever do that for me? You are the reason why I am now cleaning juice off of my table." Fucking snorted so hard, goddamn. She slapped the soul out of my body and it ricocheted back in me. You know what a Switch is, and I'm not talking about Nintendo. I let her divide by 0 once. A black hole opened up and all hell, * broke loose. Carrot, * heck. Sorry monsieur. Moms never get to 0. There's fractions out there you can't even imagine. 1 and 9/2. I never got in trouble. But my sister did. She let my mother count to 0. She just got shouted at. My sister ran upstairs crying. I used to not know what would happen when I counted to 10. My son has let me get there once. And it ended with me literally wrestling him into his pajamas and him going to bed without getting to read any books. He was very upset, and I felt like a terrible person. But he hasn't let me go past 7 since that day. My mom went from 0 to 60 in 1.9 secs. The chancla. It hurt until 2005. But I felt like a special someone in 2006. You are fucking done, followed by my entire name, with emphasis on my middle, followed by an ass beating I still remember 15 years later. Weaklings. My mother would count after I was already whooped to give me time to stop crying or I'll be whooped again. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about for real. The Big Bang. Isn't that how you were made? I was there. This is Alex's mother here posting. I'm posting on his behalf as I counted to 0. He did not survive. Your parents counted? Same here. They never counted. I died. Did you die? Yes, but I lived. My mom counted up. And if I wasn't making moves, she suddenly became a sloth. Oh, and AA2. You better move your butt. 2 and a half FFFFFFF. I was a pussy. I never let her get to 3. Alright, I'm coming in late here, but this reminded me of the time I went the distance with my monsieur. My whole life we've rarely argued, and during my entire upbringing we only had a few actual fights, all of which were 100% my fault. The point I'm making is that my mom is a really sweet, genuine person who did an amazing job raising 2 boys on her own. When I was 12 I had a bad day and got home in a mood. I wasn't quite looking for a fight per se, but I was being a crabby, snappy, negative jerk. Mom put up with it for a while and then had enough. I can't recall the catalyst, but she wanted me to do something and I refused. So the count came. 3, 2, and I interjected. 1, bitch. Quote. There was a stunned silence for a moment, and then she looked at me with rage in her eyes. I'm sorry, I pleaded, but I had crossed a line and punishment was coming. She moved so fast, like a blur, and I was frozen. I was taller than her, but she scooped me up, thrust me in a chair and told me to wait there. Her voice had both ice and heat. How is that possible? She came back with a bar of ivory soap which she jammed into my mouth. It was gross, with high notes of bitter soap taste but also a strange sickly sweetness that made me wanna gag. And that's how I know that Dr. Pepper tastes like Robitussin with ivory soap. A splash of prune juice and carbonated water. I think I got grounded as well, but the fear she instilled really did the trick. I once said a bad word. Can't remember what, but she was mad. And she said, go to my bathroom, so I could think about what I had done. Once she came back, she took out a toothbrush and put a good amount of hand soap on it, then said I had to brush for 2 minutes. The worst 2 minutes ever. No one who let their mom get to 0 is around to tell the tale. The doctor diagnosed her with dyscalculia. Am I the only one whose mom counted to 3? No, my mom did that too. As does my wife with our kid. Is 1, 2, 2.5, etc. mainly a UK thing. Aware you said, Mom. But there we are. Well, I'm currently typing this from my dungeon. Please send help. I don't have much time. Oh shit. Here she comes. Help. Note. This is a joke. Please don't call 911. I did get my ass beat with the chancla though. Could have left out the note part, but the chancla part is amusing to read. I got a privilege taken away. After that would come immediate buyer's remorse. I'd do whatever it was she had wanted me to do in the first place. Cry, and beg, and I never, ever got her to reverse her decision. My mom's a tough cookie. And it took me way too long to catch on lol. I guess I wasn't exactly the brightest child. Ask my oxygen tank. I stupidly said, wow, I didn't know you could count, and she beat the soul out of me. I saw everything that had ever happened in any place ever all at the same time. I saw every great extinction event in reverse, and the thunderous slaps had fucking reverb. She beat me like a sexually frustrated teen beats their meat. She hit me so hard I saw new colors. Her grip was like a jaguar's jaws on a gazelle's neck. There was no escape. It wasn't really my mom but more of my dad. He will count from 3 down, and when I started being a print I will sit there and stare blankly at hi monsieur. When he made it to 0 he started to take off his belt, and after that Well, there is a reason I was the fastest runner in my class. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.